Hey guys, this is Yoda. In this video, we'll talk about how to properly gather packs as a prop paladin. Use a pretty basic example as the first pull of Necrotic Wake. There's one pack in the way of us and our destination, and this pack melees like crazy. Like Patrick Soldier, melees are some of the hardest hitting melees in the game for some reason, so you want to avoid these as much as possible. So the first mistake I see people do is they'll just run it straight down through the middle of the pack into the next pack, and they'll just plant where they're fighting. So the problem with that is that when you're running through the pack, you're going to get hit by every single one of the mobs in the pack, and most likely you're going to get getting hit in the back, which means you will not be applying your parry and your block benefits to those hits. So instead of running through the pack, you want to run to the side of the pack. That way, only one will hit you at most. The next thing I see people do is while they're like running through the pack, they're not like hitting the pack. When you're running through a pack, you want to just like hit it while you're on your way there. That way you're basically starting your pull before you're even at the pull, right? The other thing is, if you need to wait like a little bit before the pull to just like get holy power and put up mitigation. Honestly, Paladin's kind of the only one that does this. You can sit outside and spam Blessed Hammer and then Shield Righteous. That's also fine. And the other thing is, once the pull is gathered, you want to make sure you're facing every mob that's coming in. That way, your parry and block benefits are working. And also you want to make sure your cooldown, use a cooldown on the way in. So we'll do it properly this time. So we're going to run around the edge here, and we're going to plant right here. And we're going to try to get the gatekeeper, okay? Also of note, this harvester will not move except immediately on pull. So it's a little bit important that you aggro this harvester from the side. So we'll show it here. I'm going to Avenger Shield this, walk past it. Notice how they haven't meleeed me. Then I'm taunting this harvester over so he moves. And then we tag this gatekeeper, shield him so he moves, and boom, the pack is gathered. I didn't use a cooldown there, but it's Mythic 0, and we're also not doing the pull for real. So that is how we're going to gather the pack. There is also another possible way to gather, which is the mounted gather. Once I drop combat, I'll show you. So this applies mostly to Arakara, but it can work in any scenario where the gather is very long. You just mount, and basically instead of horsing, you would mount to the side here, plant here, and then consecrate, divine toll, and everything's in. So the reason the mounted gather is somewhat suboptimal is that while I was going like from here to here, I didn't have any aggro on the mobs, right? Like I was literally mounted. I didn't hit them with anything, which means if you're DPS or trying to pre-dot or, just start their ramp or anything, they will immediately pull aggro. Also, if your healer heals you, they will pull aggro. So you kind of want to avoid that situation unless it's a very long run. So for instance, in Arakara, if you're running down the stairs, everyone knows like you're not supposed to hit those mobs until the tank is actually ready. So it's kind of acceptable there. But in a pull like this, where it's just like, we're literally going from here to here, it's not that far. So it's kind of expected that every mob that you are in combat with, you'll have aggro on. Which is why the mounted gather doesn't really work well for this pull, but it works for other pulls. Another thing you can do is to just plant on the first pack you see. So we just plant on this, and then I could just tag over the harvester. And we could also fight here. This would work if you didn't want to pull the gatekeeper. This is perfectly acceptable. However, if you want to pull the gatekeeper, then you kind of have to go up to the gatekeeper and then fight him. All right, so that is gathering basics from a prop paladin point of view. Thank you for watching. Peace out.